Hello once again for this Red Hat Certified System Administration V8 program. In this module 13, we will learn about SELinux, Firewall and system tuning performance, how to tune the system performance. Okay, let us straight away go into the first part of this 13th module, which is SELinux, which is also called as Security Enhanced Linux. So I'll give just a small briefing about SELinux, introduction to, and also how to basically enable and disable, and later on we will discuss about these booleans. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, I also prepared a short notes to understand about this SELinux and relate. So here basically there are three modes of operation of SELinux. The first mode is enforcing, which we obviously need to set. Of course, if you don't require this SELinux, this is a layer above your operating system, which basically protects the operating system. So you have the other modes like permissive and also disable. If you don't want it, you can disable it. But believe me, if you want to change any of these parameters from enforcing to disabled or permissive, whatever it is, especially from enforcing permissive to disabled or from disabled to enforcing permissive, you need to reboot. But for if you want to change from status from enforcing to permissive or permissive to enforce, it automatically does. It automatically, no need of reboot. So let us quickly do this particular activity and then see about how this is managed basically. Once you are into enforcing, you can manage these booleans. So I will quickly go into the console and show you the activities. So here, once I log in into the system, I can go to CD, etc SELinux. This is one area. You have a file name called as config. So you can view this file to know about what default settings has been now done. Like you can see the setting as SELinux as enforcing. So 99% like when it comes to exam, he may ask you to set up this from disable to enforcing. So whatever you do from disable to enforcing or enforcing to disable, you need to make a reboot. Okay, so I will try to show you how you can change this particular config file vi config, and if you say this SELinux, see here I'm going to say disabled. Okay, and say this one to get this enforce. You can check what is the default value get enforce. So it will display basically now it is in enforcing. If you reboot it, then it will come to default. It comes to disabled. Okay, so now I do not want to change anything. So again I'll return back saying va config. So SELinux to enforcing, because we need this activity to perform enforcing. Okay, is this clear? Okay, so now you can see this particular one SE status. This is the second command which we need to understand. So here it will display all the parameters. SELinux status is enabled. Okay, and here also the current mode is enforcing. This is how we generally look into this particular SE status. SE means security enhanced status, basically SELinux status. Okay, so now if you see this activity like enforcing, we can run these booleans. Okay, so we'll quickly learn about how to set up boolean basically. So here to list about SE module -L, you can pipe more. It will display all the modules which are there. So these are all various modules where we can set the booleans. If you want a little bit detailed, to any of this particular one, what I can do, it will list it in detail. SE manage using this SE manage boolean -L pipe more. So here you can see this one. It is trying to retrieve all the modules. You can see hello antivirus to scan. This is one level up of all the, like you can say about the security modules going into this particular one. Okay, so what I generally do here, Q for quit. Okay, and get SE bool. I want a specific one. Okay, ftp underscore home underscore dir. Okay, Let us see. I think this particular value is not set. So okay, I was just trying to grab basically whether FTP home is there. It is mentioned as TFTP because the service is not loaded. So we'll try to change this particular one. I mean, like get SE boolean. Okay, TFTP underscore home underscore DAR. You can see this parameter here. Okay, the same thing which I am asking. It is saying as off. How to make it on? On set SE bool, get SE bool. I mean boolean and set SE FTP home. There. You can make it on. Okay. Now again you can ask. Now it is set on. Okay. So this is how we generally update. Again I'll make it off basically. Set as bool because the default one is off. So it is off. Okay. Now I'll also show a parameter basically for I mean HTTP when we learn about web server. Okay. So this is about fundamentals about how to basically set this SE Linux. So in the exam point of view, you need to basically set it to enforcing and see the status when you say about I mean the status about get enforced. You have to see that it is in enforcing. So that is the minimum thing which we really require to understand. Okay, so now I'll quickly move ahead to the next topic, which is firewall, which is again very important topic for us. Okay, so I made a short notes. I made a short notes on firewall as well as I'll be attaching all these things in the presentation itself. So here about firewall, as you all are aware of this firewall, firewall basically protects the system by allowing or disallowing the ports, and it enhances the security by not as per the rules provided in the firewall basically. So first of all, by default, as and when you install this relate, the firewall is enabled. So if you want to know the status of this particular thing, systemctl means status firewall d.service. So you can see this particular one is active and running. You know how to basically stop the service if you don't want. You can say systemctl. I mean, like you can say stop firewall d.service. So the firewall is stopped. You can ask for status. You can ask for status. It is done. Anyway, this I don't recommend to do this particular one because we require this firewall. So again, I'll start this firewall. I mean, uh, firewall service or restart. And now the status is basically running. Okay, so this is about firewall. Now let me show you how you can basically manage the system services using this firewall. This is more important for us. That means if you want to allow a port or disallow a port, or maybe a service if you know, or a host or a network, all these things you can manage through firewall. But first of all, let me show you the status as of now, the ports, etc. So once this firewall D is enabled, the service is enabled, you have a command called as firewall CMD. So this is one command which will show you completely, I mean which will allow you to manage the firewall basically. Firewall CMD, okay, you can say list all, list hyphen all. So it will show you the status of all, I mean the current status which is there. So here there is a service run which is allowed basically, like SSH by default they will allow, cockpit and DHCP version 6 client. So here, so now I want to enable a service called as FTP in this particular, that is port number 21. How to do this? So I can say firewall CMD, okay, add port equal to 21/TCP and say hyphen permanent. Please remember to write this one, otherwise it won't work. So I need, okay, this is success. So now once this firewall is configured, you need to reload the status once again, hyphen reload. So this should also return with success. I mean it is Now reinitiating the script which we have given above. So now again, once again, I'll ask about to list all the services. So now you see port 21 is allowed. Port 21 is allowed. If you know the service name, you can give sometime, otherwise the port number. So like we have about 65536 ports of TCP, it can be UDP also sometimes, or both TCP and UDP. This is how we manage this firewall. Okay. So with this, I think in the exam, if you need to allow port number 80 or port number some service like www or maybe any other ports, you can allow in this particular way and make changes permanent. Okay, that's all for this firewall, and I think we'll be moving ahead with the third important topic, which is how to tune the system. This is a new service which has been introduced in this relate. Okay, optimal value. In I think in the exam also you may be asked. You may be asked because you need to practice very well about this concept also. How basically you can, tune the system to an optimal level or many other levels which will be there. I'll be discussing those things. Okay, for this particular activity also, I have written a short, I have appended in this modules about this short notes, tuning system performance. System will work, to the optimal level depending on the application you configure. See here, the basic profiles which are available are tuned ADM list. This is one command which is there, like a balanced. If your profile is basically of various other activities. Performance oriented means network latency, you can say power save, virtual guest, workloads, etc. So if you want your profile to be virtual guest, you can optimize this for KVM. See, I have given the supplementary notes also which one you want to choose accordingly. So for our practice also, we may try with various options here. Okay. So here I think short notes also is given here. So first of all, before you start this, try to install this yum tuned. Okay. So I will just quickly go ahead with the installation part. So here yum install tuned. If it is already installed, it's okay. Otherwise, you need to install. But before that, let me mount /dev cd-rom /cd-rom. Okay. So let me see whether yum is getting connected or not. Okay, fine, fantastic. Yum install tuned. Okay, package tuned is already installed, so the first part is done. First part, if it is not done, please install using this repo manager. Okay, then now next is tuned ADM list. So let me show you by running this command, tuned ADM list. You can see this. It will show the list of all the available options to do. Available profile. So which I have shown you. Okay, with various options. So now our activity is to basically, you can choose your profile basically. You can choose profile, maybe throughput performance. You can see here throughput performance is also one of the profile where I need to tune accordingly. You can see this one, broadly applicable tuning that provides excellent performance across a variety of common server workloads. Okay, and make it active. Once it is done, it will make it active. Tuned ADM profile throughput performance. Okay, tuned ADM active. Yes, current active profile has been tuned to this particular profile. If this type of question is asked in the exam, or he will be asking what profile you need to make it active. So based on that profile, list the profile name with the previous command which is there from this, and then you can change accordingly and set make it active. Okay. So if you want to decide by the system itself recommended, you can ask tuned ADM recommend. So it will suggest which one it is suggesting as virtual guest. So now what I will do, I can basically make it active in that particular profile. I can change the profile once again, like tune ADM profile, okay, virtual guest, and again make it active. So now the current one which is active is virtual guest. Okay. So in this way, the system tuning is more important for us. Even though this is a very small activity, the system balances, basically it organizes all your kernel parameters. So with help of this particular tuning, so that the system give optimal, performance to the tuning activity or the tuning profile which we have done. Okay, so this is all about in this module. So we have learned about, initially we have learned about how to tune the system, earlier the SELinux and also the firewall. Okay, thank you very much.